Hey everyone, it's Stasha Erickson. I hope you're all doing well today. It is November 21st of 2016, and I am here today to bring you the news that you need. Because if they won't report it, then I will. So today's subject is going to be a very interesting one. Over the weekend, I was scanning the world media yet again to see what the overall changes and messages that I could pick up on for humanity were this weekend. And, well, I kind of landed on yet another theme. We're not going so far away from the last few news broadcasts that I brought. The first one being about nanotechnology and our mobile phones and nanoparticles essentially taking over and merging man with machine. And then in the next report, I talked about the Android phone hack, where 700 million Android phones were designed and created with a backdoor app that was sending all of your user data to China every 72 hours. They still have not announced whose phones have this backdoor on them, what year they were manufactured, but we can assume that this happened over the past few years. Most likely phones that were manufactured in 2014, 2015, and 2016 have this backdoor app installed in them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out the two videos that I uploaded before this. Is nanotechnology dividing us all? And 700 million Android phones have been hacked by China. Please check those out, and you will see that today's report is kind of picking up where these last two left off. So how this all started for me today was I first landed on a video about driverless cars. Now this video was posted by CNN, and the title of the video was Baidu's new driverless car takes on Tesla. And it said the makers of Baidu's new driverless car believe that it's safer than a human driver and hope to have more on the street within the next 10 years. CNN's Matt Rivers reported this. Okay, so I'm watching the video, and it's not that I haven't heard about driverless cars, but I had not really understood the rapid pace as to which this technology was spreading and developing. So there was a man that was being interviewed here with Matt Rivers, and they're going around and they're showing the different cars, they're showing the technology of how it works. Essentially, you have a car that has this kind of camera sensor type of antenna thing on the top, and this camera is circling around at all times, and it's working as a 3D detector. So if there's anything that exists in 3D, whether it be a car, a human being, something in the road, a rock, a tree, anything that has 3D matter consistent of itself will be picked up by these tracker devices on your autonomous driving car. So when these sensors pick up a car in front of you, behind you, they can even sense when a light is turning from red, yellow, green. You're essentially putting all of your trust into technology yet again. Now, I was watching the man who was representative of Baidu. Now, Baidu, this company, is actually owned, of course, or is actually based, of course, in China. So we've brought it back full circle to China yet again. Now, Jing Wang, the representative for Baidu, he had some very interesting quotes throughout this news broadcast. They really actually gave me the chills. One of the quotes was, "Our goal is to make it better than any human driver in the world." So he wants to create these autonomous cars that essentially will become better than any human driver in the world. Now his next statement was, autonomous driving is actually safer than human driving. So now we've got this representative from China who spent tons of money and tons of time on research, and he is basically saying that they are Their plan is to make these driverless cars better than human drivers. So robots are officially taking over. We can't even drive our cars apparently better than robots. Now, companies like Uber, BMW, and Ford will also bring in these autonomous driving cars as an industry standard by 2021. That's just 5 years from now. And then Wang says that mass production by China's Baidu manufacturer will also begin in 2021. So they will be mass producing these autonomous driving cars by 2021. Now in this video he said he was partnering up with some other important countries and industry giants in driving. And some of the partners, of course, were Germany and some other places. So there's definitely something going on beneath the surface here to this Baidu, China, and Tesla merger. Now Tesla, you know, he's probably rolling around in his grave right now knowing that his technology is being abused and used at such a large scale. But that's another story for another day. So I will leave a link, first of all, to the CNN video about the driverless cars taking on Tesla. Now there was a second video that I saw from CNN as well, and this was actually posted just a couple days after the driverless car video. And this video was titled, "Driverless Cars Will Transform Our Cities." Now I will leave you a link for this article as well. And it said, what sounds like futuristic technology could be just around the corner after an electric robot car completed its first outing on a street circuit. And there's a guy here explaining all about robo-racing and how this works. And robo-racing is officially a thing now. And the guy who was speaking on behalf of robo-race, he said, there is a space race going on right now in the world. Some people are going to Mars, and we're developing robotic cars. So in this video, you can see this guy from RoboRace and all of these other drivers and racers, and I even saw some guys from Laguna Beach in the hills in the background. So this is making its way to kind of Orange County kids. Now everybody wants one of these robo-racing cars. I think I even saw Bruce Jenner's son there, Brody Jenner. So this is where it's going. Not only are autonomous drivers going to be taking over the road, but now there's robo-racing going on. So long story short, they are trying to get rid of human drivers. Technology is spreading so fast. These large companies and techno giants are merging with each other, and they are essentially trying to take over humanity. Robots can drive better than humans now, so what's the point of us even having driver's licenses? Or, you know, it's just, I start sitting here and I start thinking about, you know, all the old-time lads that love to fix up Cadillacs and old Ford F1s, and, you know, vintage cars are such an amazing hobby for so many people. Is it really going to come to a point where we can't even control the driving wheel behind our vehicle? And this essentially is coming to the point where humanity will have to give up all control and trust technology. I don't feel safe putting my children into a car that a robot is driving. I don't care if it's been tested for 10 or 20 years. It doesn't make me feel safe to know that nanotechnology is driving my car and controlling the safety of myself and my family. So, you know, this is really it. This is 5 years from now that they want this to be an industry standard. In 10 years from now, everybody's supposed to have an autonomous driving car by then. And it's just scary because are they going to have to make certain lanes just for the robo-cars? We've got enough money and infrastructure as it is being blown out the window. Do we really need to go there right now? It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. So I wanted to do a little bit more research about Baidu because there was just, you know, that was the first clue that I landed on in this journey. And I just felt like there was more to the surface with this Baidu company. And, you know, being that my last article had to do with China merging with a bunch of other companies and countries, and the nanotechnology merger that was done not so long ago with Israel that I talked about, and Germany. And I just thought, okay, China, Israel, Germany, all these countries are coming up over and over again in relation to technology. You know, I feel like the universe is trying to tell me something. So I just went to find the most recent article that I could about autonomous driving cars, and wouldn't you know it, but I landed right on another article referring to Baidu. So it says, BMW and Baidu end their deal on driverless cars. So I thought to myself, what's happened here? I was just watching this guy, Jing Wang, talking about how these mergers with Germany and all these other car companies were going to be the next wave of the future. So I'll give you guys a link to this article as well as the other two videos I told you about. And so it says, German automaker, oh, and by the way, I found this on Shanghai Daily, so you guys don't think I'm getting all my news from CNN. Remember, I get the news from CNN, and then I do the research to find out what the agenda is behind it. Both the video clips I'm showing you are just 1 or 2 minutes long. You cannot explain these issues in detail when you're presenting somebody a 1-minute video. So this is why I'm trying to look a little bit behind the message and see what the bigger picture is here. So it says, on November 19th, this was just 2 or 3 days ago, BMW and Baidu end their deal on driverless cars. German automaker BMW and Chinese internet giant Baidu, hello, wait. Chinese internet giant Baidu? Since when was Baidu an internet giant? I thought Baidu was a car company. Do you see what I'm saying here, people? Okay, so Chinese internet giant Baidu will end their joint research on self-driving cars. Executives for the two firms said yesterday, with Baidu now searching for new global research partners. Wonder what went wrong with Germany. Wang Jing, here he is again, the head of the autonomous car development at Baidu, said the company is now using cars from Ford's Lincoln in its U.S. testing, declining to elaborate any further. So now they're going to base their models off of good old Ford cars. I thought American cars were shite. I thought Ford stood for found on the road dead. Why would China's leading technology department now need U.S. technology? This is very strange. I see a little bit of flip-flopping going on here. Now, let's see here. I'm open for any partners. Actually, I'm talking to many, Wang said, speaking on the sidelines of the Third World Internet Conference in Wuzhen, Zhejiang Province. Tech and automotive leaders contend that cars of the future will be capable of completely driving themselves, revolutionizing the transportation industry, with virtually all car makers, as well as companies such as Google and parts supplier Delphi, investing heavily in developing the technology. Delphi. I mean, that's just, these names are so cryptic, you know? What do we know about Delphi? Delphi, we have the Oracle of Delphi that's going back to Greek traditions. This is essentially being kind of like an oracle, a mind reader, seeing the future. You know, they use these names for a reason. They know how powerful the meanings behind the etymology of the words are. So they're essentially developing with Google and a company named after an oracle, and they're heavily investing in developing the technology. Now, the two companies decided to end the cooperation, which involved testing in the United States and China, because they held different opinions on how to proceed with research. BMW's China CEO Olaf Kostner said at the Guangzhou, wow, I really butchered that one, auto show. Now we have found that the development pace and the ideas of the two companies are a little different, Kastner said, without specifying the exact point of the disagreement. I wonder who wanted more, who wanted to expose or use humanity more. Was it Germany or was it China? That's got to be the only divide going on here. Now, at the conference in Wuzhen, Baidu offered test drives of various autonomous driving prototypes developed separately with Chinese automakers Chery Co. and Bike Motor. The test cars drove a closed road, automatically avoiding a bicycle and overtaking cars moving at various speeds. That's really frightening. When you're overtaking a car, that is one of the most dangerous things in the world. When I lived in Ireland, first time I lived in Ireland was back in the early 2000s, and I will never forget the first time that someone overtook me on a 2-lane road. I mean, I literally thought I was going to die. My children were very small at the time, like 3 and 5 or something, and I just remember thinking how scary and how illegal overtaking should be in the first place. So the fact that it's legal still blows my mind. And now these robocars will be overtaking cars on the freeway. Super safe. And what makes me think is just because the robocar has great reaction capabilities, who's to say that the normal car that you're overtaking is not going to react the same way? What if it sees this crazy car trying to overtake it and it gets scared and it slams on its brakes? Some people don't let people overtake them when they're driving on a 2-lane highway. They don't like it. So this is where the divide gets really scary, when you've got robo-drivers versus human drivers. And if they're saying robo-drivers are better than human drivers, well, they might be better drivers that will lead us to having an accident. And how will that human being in the car feel if their robo-car causes an accident and takes somebody's life? Will it be the fault of the human being driving the car? Or will it be the fault of a company like Baidu? This is the kind of blurred lines that we really don't need. If you just look back through history and you look at folklore and stories such as Atlantis, and when technology got too out of control, and the same goes for the Egyptian civilization as well, when you have too much technology, you stop focusing on the present. When you have too much technology, you're projecting too far forward into the future. You stop thinking about humanity and you start thinking about all the things that you don't have. This is a seeking type of behavior. We should never seek. We should accept and expect the best. But this is just insanity. Now, the overtaking cars, that really got me there. Okay, now, BMW's Kastner said the two made decisions to part ways after jointly developing the automatic overtaking capability, seeing it as a key milestone for the technology. I find that to be the most frightening part. So they think it's the key milestone, and I think it's the biggest mistake they could ever make. Now, the German automaker plans to expand its research and development team for autonomous drive in China, Kastner said. The companies will remain partners on high-definition maps vital to the navigation of autonomous cars. Well, good thing they're all working together on this to basically eliminate one of my favorite things to do, which is to drive a car. You know, when I'm stressed out and when I need to just reset myself, my favorite thing to do is hop in the car and go for a drive. You know, I feel sometimes God is at the wheel guiding me by GPS, and I just go. And I've landed on some of the most amazing places in my life by just getting behind the wheel and just going, not having a destination, just going with the flow. I've landed on old castle ruins in Ireland, and in Norway here my husband and I have driven around and we found, you know, an old spooky forest or an old church or whatever. I grew up in Southern California, between Los Angeles and San Diego, and I drove up and down the coast of California more times than I can ever count. And I had some of the most amazing adventures of my life because I didn't have a destination. It makes me think about the Mandela effect. And if those of you have watched my Mandela effect videos, you know what I'm talking about. One of the Mandela effects that have changed is in the movie Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks says, Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. And to this day, I still remember it as, Mama always told me life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So that's one of the Mandela effects that's being heavily debated right now. So why did I bring that up as an example? Well, because the new way Forrest Gump says it is that Mom always said that life was like a box of chocolates. In other words, we used to know what we were going to get, or we used to not know what we were going to get. But in this new reality, and in Forrest Gump's new reality, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, now we are in the world of we don't know what we're going to get. You know? They're controlling us. They're controlling the outcome of things. So life is no longer like a box of chocolates. We don't know what we're going to get because they're going to control everything to where every day we will know what we're going to get. We will know exactly what we're going to get because it's going to be controlled. Every aspect of how we drive our cars, the internet that we can watch, the television programming that we can watch, everything is being controlled in this new society and this new mentality. So we have to start breaking this stuff now. We need technology. Well, we don't need it. We really don't need it at all. But technology can be very helpful, is really what I should say. But we cannot use and abuse things to the point where they're useless, you know, to where we are useless. If we keep on this path, you know, what is left for humanity when robots drive our cars, when every single cell phone conversation we have is being listened to, when we breathe the air outside and we're breathing in nanoparticles that are slowly turning us into cyborgs? What happened to the days of Noah? What happened to the good old days when people grew their food and spent time with their families and didn't have to work 3 jobs just to have a roof over their head? What happened to the days when there was no such thing as keeping up with the Joneses? When we were just ourselves and we were happy and content with that? We have to get back to simplicity. We have to get back to humanity. And we can only do this with love and support from one another. So I urge and encourage all of you today to do whatever you can to detach from the matrix a little bit, to detach from technology a little bit. I truly believe the way that we will break free and take our power back is to detach as much from their system as humanly possible and attach yourself to human emotions like love, compassion, caring, and forgiveness as much as possible, because that is truly all that matters. And there's nothing that you can take to heaven with you that's not within your soul or your spirit. So don't spend your life stacking up robocars and mobile phones and iPads and PlayStations and whatever else is cool this week or next week. Do the little things with yourself, do the little things with your family, and change this world by example. Because you truly can. You are that powerful. Positivity is just as contagious as negativity. So let's put as much positive energy and focus as we can out there for humanity, because it does spread, and I believe that we outnumber them. Okay? So that is your Monday news report. This is Stasha Erickson bringing you the news you need. If this report has helped you, please subscribe, please thumbs up, please share this video with your friends. If you have been helped and moved by the work that I've done, I have a donation button on my website. My website is stashaerickson.com. Any donation, small or large, is greatly appreciated. It helps me to get this work going. The next thing I plan to invest in is a really great video camera and a really great microphone so that I can bring even better quality to all of you with these news reports. Because, you know, if they won't report it, then I will.